Before I get into this video, I just want to thank you guys so much for giving me 500 subscribers. I never imagined that I would get 500 by this year. This is actually surreal that I'm getting more and more subscribers later in the year. So that is really awesome. So I want to thank you guys so much for giving me 500 subscribers because it really means so much to me. Now, on to the video. Disney night was the most magical night of our lives, and we got lots to talk about what happened last night, and the competition is starting to heat up. So let's get into it. How's it going, guys? It's Eric Sharkey, aka Dance Bazaar Superfan, back with another video, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. This channel is based on one of the most iconic shows of all time, which is Dancing with the Stars. One of the reasons why I love the show so much is because I love the dancing, the celebrities, as well as my favorite celebrities getting out of their comfort zones to try ballroom dancing, and the show always puts me in a better mood, and it helps me take my mind off things, and the show is my stress reliever, just so you guys know. Since Disney night was last night, we're going to be recapping what happened last night. Trust me, there were many great dances and some not so great. And if you guys like this video, or if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up, as well as turn on post notifications to get you notified about my latest Dancing with the Stars content video. So without further ado, let's get started. But for this one, I'm doing something a little bit different. Instead of saying the artist who sang that song like I usually do, I'm going to tell you guys the song, as well as the Disney movie that came with that song. First up is Sky and Alan dancing to Jive to Almost There from The Princess and the Frog. Derek said he isn't head over heels with this performance because her weight was too far back and she looked a little stiff. Bruno appreciated that she went into it with focus, but she was a little tight and lacked elasticity. Carrie-Anne could tell Sky was nervous, so she should find something to focus on to deliver her performance to it. You know, the bright side is they bounced back from the stumble they had last week, as well as Sky pulling his hair to try to save herself from falling. The dance was okay and a great way to start off Disney night, but she had some problems with the dance though. So the judges' scores are, they were all 6s from the judges, giving them a score 18 out of 30. Next up is Monica and Val dancing the Viennese waltz to Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. Bruno said, "You made it to shore safely," and she danced with confidence and connection, but sometimes she loses her posture. Carrie-Anne told her, "You were like a different person." She was beautiful because she was so relaxed, but she needs to stay close when in hold. Derek also thought it was beautiful, but she needs to pay attention to her feet. This was by far her best dance so far, but we still have a long way to go. She was relaxed and did everything she had to do, just like her own self when she's a cheer coach who is tough as nails. But there were a couple of things that she needs to work on, but it didn't matter to the judges whatsoever. So judges' scores are, they were all 7 from the judges, giving them a score 21 out of 30. Next up is Justina and Sasha dancing the Charleston to Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious from Mary Poppins. Carrie-Anne loved it, and they were perfectly in sync, but it could have used a little more energy. Derek wanted more swivels and footwork. He also wanted more energy and sharper movements. Bruno calls her sweetly delicious and addictive, but he agrees that it needed to be sharper. I kind of agree with the judges because there wasn't enough energy. Despite hitting all her moves perfectly, they weren't as sharp as they hoped. So judges' scores are, Carrie-Anne a 7, Derek a 6, Bruno a 6, giving them a score 19 out of 30. Next up is AJ and Cheryl dancing the quick step to Prince Ali from Aladdin. Derek can always rely on AJ to put a smile on his face, and his posture was good except for being a little hunched at times. Bruno loved it, and he agrees with Derek that AJ is improving and refining. Carrie-Anne appreciated that he put his own spin on the routine, but his elbow dropped just a little bit. That was a major improvement compared to his first 2 dances, and he nailed that quick step. He did this dance for his 2 daughters. So judges' scores are, they were all 7s from the judges, giving them a score 21 out of 30. Great job, AJ. Next up is Anne and Keo dancing the quick step to Zero to Hero from Hercules. Bruno thought the fighting was tough, but it was entertaining. Carrie-Anne thought it started off great, but they lost control in the middle. She's gonna dock Keo a point for a lift at the beginning of the routine. Derek suggested that they try to dance the whole routine by themselves so Anne isn't relying on Keo so much on the dance floor. Well, maybe it wasn't the right song for the quick step. It would have fit really well with the jive, by the way. If this dance was a jive, it would have been much better. So judges' scores are, they were all 5s from the judges, giving them a score 15 out of 30. Next up is Jeannie and Brandon dancing the Viennese waltz to Married Life from Up. Carrie-Anne thinks their balance is incredible as a couple, but she needs to work on her turns. Derek calls the dance beautiful and her frame was fantastic. It was her best performance, he said. Bruno says she captured the essence of the film, which was pure storytelling. That's exactly what I wanted to see from Jeannie. Even though she had problems with her turns as well as some other spots that they pointed out that she needs to work on, it didn't really matter to them and the potential came true. Not only that, she did it for her fiance Jeezy's birthday, who are hoping to grow old together from years to come. So happy belated birthday, Jeezy. So judges' scores are Carrie Ann a 7, Derek a 7, and Bruno an 8, giving them a score 22 out of 30. Also that special moment where Jeannie stole the 8 paddle from Bruno, which was a kind of cute moment, by the way. Next up is Nelly and Daniela dancing the foxtrot to It's Alright from the upcoming Disney Pixar film Soul. Derek thought it was really good for his first ballroom dance, and his frame was pretty good, but he got a little ahead of the music at one point. Derek thought it was a proper foxtrot, but he needs to stop bringing up his shoulders. Carrie Ann thinks Nelly is a very natural dancer, but she wants him to stop being so safe. This is his first slow dance that he's ever done on the show, and he did a little better than I expected. I felt like his frame was good, his shoulders were okay until he lifted them up, but for a first time ballroom dancer doing a foxtrot, not too bad. So judges' scores are, they were all 6s from the judges, giving them a score 18 out of 30. Next up is Carol and Pasha doing the samba to Circle of Life from The Lion King. This is the 3rd time in a row that she's done a song which was cat related. Bruno has never seen a samba like it, but she just walked through it without enough balance. Carrie Ann could feel that Carol danced the routine with a lot of love. It was lacking most of the other necessary elements. Derek thanks Carol for loving and protecting big cats. He gives a 10 for the hair and makeup and the costumes, but there wasn't much balance or rhythm. I definitely agree with the judges. The dance was kind of stiff, lacking, and not much rhythm. Also, she was just walking through some parts of the dance. So judges' scores are Carrie Ann a 5, Derek a 4, Bruno a 3, giving them a score 12 out of 30. Next up is Caitlin and Artem dancing the rumba to How Far I'll Go from Moana. Carrie Ann thought it was the best dance of the night by a mile. It had the incense of the rumba while dancing in her bare feet like in the Pacific Islands. Derek wanted to see her in shoes that would have showed off more of the rumba footwork and hip action, but he lets it slide because of her ankle injury last week. Bruno thought it reminded him of the shape of water. The first word that I said out of my mouth after their dance, I was like, wow, that was perfect. Even though she didn't wear heels, the dance fit really well with her. So judges' scores are Carrie Ann an 8, Derek a 7, Bruno an 8, giving them a score 23 out of 30. It probably should have been all 8s, by the way. I have a feeling that this is going to be Artem's breakout season, and it already is. Next up is Vernon and Peta dancing the quick step to Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast. Derek tells him real man plays candlesticks, but it was full of such joy that he didn't notice the foot fumbles as much. Bruno admired his confidence and light and easy action, though he still has things to work on. Carrie Ann thought they found their balance as partners, and it was one of her favorite dances of that night. I have to say, I was really surprised when I saw their dance, and Vernon, he improved this week, despite some little things that the judges pointed out, but he's getting there little by little. So judges' scores are Carrie Ann an 8, Derek a 7, Bruno a 7, giving them a score 22 out of 30. Next up is Neve and Jenna dancing the Argentine tango to Angelica from the Pirates in the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Bruno thought it was another hit for Captain Jack Sparrow, and he managed to maintain the Argentine tango while also giving the Captain Jack Sparrow performance. Carrie Ann also appreciated the combination of character and technique and how they didn't hide behind lifts, and Derek thought they nailed it. From being the surprise during the premiere, the best dance of the night last week, to being phenomenal this week. So judges' scores are, they were all 8s from the judges, giving them a score 24 out of 30. Next up is Johnny and Britt dancing the rumba to Reflection from Milan, the 2020 film version. Carrie Ann was crying because she saw him make the transition from being an ice skater to a ballroom dancer. Derek thought his arms and lines were beautiful. Bruno admired his exquisite shapes and extensions, and he started to project emotion this time. This was by far their best dance so far, and that was a big improvement, so good job, Johnny, and I knew you could do it. So judges' scores are, they were all 8s from the judges, giving them a score 24 out of 30. Next up is Jesse and Sharna dancing the jive to King of New York from Newsies. Derek didn't think Jesse felt comfortable with the timing of the routine. He got ahead of the music at times. Bruno liked it better though, and he played the role brilliantly, and his footwork was light and nimble. Carrie Ann agrees with Bruno about how well Jesse told the story, but she also agrees with Derek about his problems with musicality. Even though he messed up a couple times and got ahead of the music as well as being light on his feet, the good news is he's moving a little better, and I like the jazz moves into the dance, by the way. So judges' scores are Carrie Ann a 7, Derek a 6, Bruno a 7, giving them a score 20 out of 30. Last up is Chriselle and Gleb dancing the waltz to A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes from Cinderella. Bruno calls him the belle of the ball, and he could feel the romance unfolding. Carrie thinks Chriselle and Gleb are stunning like magic together, but she needs to work on her shoulders and an ugly line in there. Derek thought she was stunning, but she needs to keep her feet together in the turns. She is still getting better little by little. It was a slight improvement. Even though her turns were a little clumsy, it didn't matter to them whatsoever. So judges' scores are Carrie a 7, Derek a 7, Bruno an 8, giving them a score 22 out of 30. Now we got to the dances, let's take a look at the leaderboard for this week. Tied for the top of the leaderboard are Neve and Jenna and Johnny and Britt with 24 points, Caitlin and Artem with 23 points, a three-way tie with 22 points, Vernon and Peta, Jeannie and Brandon, and Chriselle and Gleb. Tied with 21 points are Monica and Val and AJ and Cheryl, Jesse and Sharna with 20 points, Justina and Sasha with 19 points, Sky and Alan and Nellie and Daniela tied with 18 points, and Keo with 15 points, and at the bottom are Carol and Pasha with 12 points. But for this one, I'm doing something really different. I'm going to rank their dances from 14 to 1, from being the worst to being the greatest dance of that night. Number 14, the worst dance of the night, is Carol and Pasha's Samba. Number 13, and Keo's Quick Step. Number 12, Justina and Sasha's Charleston. Number 11, Nellie and Daniela's Foxtrot. Number 10, Sky and Alan's Jive. Number 9, Monica and Val's Viennese Waltz. Number 8, Jeannie and Brandon's Viennese Waltz. Number 7, Vernon and Peta's Quick Step. Number 6, AJ and Cheryl's Quick Step. Number 5, Jesse and Sharna's Jive. Number 4, Chriselle and Gleb's Waltz. Number 3, Johnny and Britt's Rumba. Number 2, Neve and Jenna's Argentine Tango. And number 1, the best dance of the night, in my perspective, Caitlin and Artem's Rumba. I would have to say the best dances of the night are Johnny and Britt, Neve and Jenna, and Caitlin and Artem. The improvements of the night are Jeannie and Brandon, Chriselle and Gleb, and Vernon and Peta. Overall, the set was pretty good and it had the Electrical Parade logo with it. Even though they didn't go to Disneyland this year like they always do when it's Disney night, a few of the contestants told their stories about their experiences at Disney. Now let's find out who will dance next week, the bottom two, as well as who got eliminated last night. The couples who are safe are Nellie and Daniela, Neve and Jenna, Monica and Val, Vernon and Peta, Chriselle and Gleb, Caitlin and Artem, Johnny and Britt, Jesse and Sharna, Jeannie and Brandon, Justina and Sasha, AJ and Cheryl, Sky and Alan, while Anne and Keo and Carol and Pasha are the bottom two. Derek and Bruno vote to save Anne and Keo, which means Carol and Pasha are eliminated, which means we don't have a Sean Spicer moment this year. And as for Keo, he made it past week 2 and week 3. Usually when he doesn't get a good partner, he usually gets out the first and second week, but for this season, it's a little bit different, but I'm glad he made it past the third week. Everyone knows that last week, Tyra Banks struggled as the host and took too much time with the contestants rather than the usual things. She was able to admit to her mistakes and being honest that her hosting is not good, but she is not giving up. But for this one, is a much different story. She actually did better this week. She did what she had to do. She didn't do a wardrobe change like she has been doing recently. She kept the same outfit this time. Oh, and did I mention that awkward moment where Vernon grabs Peta's hand and ran away from Tyra after revealing their scores? Right when they both sprinted off the stage, Tyra said, "Where's he going? He lost his mind." "Where you going, boo?" "Vernon lost his mind." Well, quite frankly, you're making us lose our minds, Tyra, over that awkward moment. At first, I kind of thought it was like a normal celebration where Vernon and Peta were going to go celebrate because of one of their best dances and they got a good score out of it. But quite frankly, it was revealed that Vernon was trying to avoid Tyra from asking his personal questions. And you can't blame him, for God's sakes. And trust me, I don't blame him either. Even though in my mind she's gotten a little better at hosting the show for this episode, but there was like some things that are not really good and people are still hating her for hosting the show. For my elimination prediction, this one's a really tough one for me, but man, you guys are making it harder for me on who will be eliminated next week because everyone is so good. My prediction would be Anne H is likely going to be in the bottom two, but we don't know who's going to be joining with her. We'll just have to wait and see next week and find out. So next week will be week 4, which will be the top 13. After week 4, week 5 is going to be 80s night, so stay tuned. If Sky doesn't want to be eliminated, she has to step it up next week. And that'll do it for this video, so let me know in the comments down below. Which Disney night dances were your favorite, and who do you think will be eliminated next week? So let me know in the comments down below. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Eric Sharkey, aka Dancing with a Star Superfan. Catch you next time.